We've met like 10, 15 years ago. We were working for the same conferences. You've been all around the games industry.
Have been, yeah.
And you ended up for now at Gearbox
That's
Publishing. And you do influencer marketing over there.
Perfect tie-in compared to the chat we had just now, of course. They talked about content creators being important for your business. Well, I'm about to tell you why, or why not you should work with those creators.
And that was my intro. So give it up for Luci.
Hi, everyone, and people that are still walking in. My name is Luci. As you mentioned, I currently work for Gearbox Publishing as the lead influencer manager on a global level. I've been doing this for 10 years, so I'm pretty much a senior, pretty much an old person in this industry at this point. So what I'm about to tell you, you may already know, you may disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to tell you how I work with influencers and what I think the best way to work with these guys is. First of all, influencer, kind of shouldn't say it, it's content creator. They prefer to be called content creators because they're making content, they're not influencing anyone, or so they think, but obviously they do. So what will I talk about right now is what can a creator do to your marketing, what platforms there are, organic versus paid, because everybody wants free influencers or content creators, but how is that going to work? What does success look like? Obviously, again, this is just my opinion, and it may be different for every company. And finally, how to create your own content creator campaign. So what can a creator add to your marketing? A creator can be your trusted voice to the community. People will trust the community, and the community will trust influencers or content creators over your own voice, because these people are independent of your company. As Sockpop just mentioned, their game sales went up as soon as a video went live, because that video is not a video that you made. It's a video that someone else made on your behalf. That means that this is independent of you. It can also provide valuable feedback. Influencers or content creators are great in giving you feedback on your game because they play these games all day, every day. They can give you feedback from a perspective that isn't involved in the game development all the time. So they can help you in making your game better. Doesn't mean you should always listen because they talk out of their ass as well. But sometimes if they're diehard roguelike players and you've got a roguelike game, listen to them. What can you change to make the community love your game even more? They can bring your game to new audiences you hadn't thought of before. They can show what your game is all about, and they can be a valuable member of your community as well. There's plenty of games who have creators who are focused 100% just on one type of game. They are part of your community from that point onward, and you should treasure them, you should value them. Even if they're negative about your game, you know what, they play your game more than 100 hours, and they show that to their community. So they're a valued voice that you should treasure and listen to and communicate with. The platforms that there are. Obviously, there are more platforms out there right now, like Rumble and Kick, but I'm not going into those right now because it's not something that a lot of game studios are using due to the more controversial nature of those. So one that we're using a lot, obviously, is Twitch. It's purely meant for gaming. Pros of that, you're directly engaging with your audience. It's more organic. You can have drops, meaning that your game is going to be on the front page of Twitch. It's like, oh my God, look, there's drops. People are going to tune in. It's more exciting. The cons, however, is there's no control over the content that gets put out, and that's a risk for a brand. Especially if you have a game with a lot of information going on, a lot of that information may get lost when someone tunes into Twitch because they're tuning in an hour through. They've already been streaming the game. People are confused. They're like, what is this game? So that is the difficult part of Twitch. And of course, you can't control someone's behavior. At the end of the day, a content creator is their own individual person, and they may say something that you don't want them to say. Just the other week, I had a streamer smoke weed on stream. We don't really care, the game was 18 plus, but obviously, if you've got a family-friendly game, that's not maybe the kind of image that you want to put out there. So with Twitch, the risk is always there. Someone can fuck up. With YouTube, you've got more control over their content. The content is content that you can review, especially if you're paying someone to make a video. You can really see what they're putting out there. You control the narrative. And this is very good if you're trying to make informative content, if you want to show people what your game really is all about. It can also obviously upload more short content, because people's attention span these days is very low. The cons, however, is people on YouTube are very expensive. Content creation on YouTube is just more expensive than Twitch. And so you need a bit of a bigger budget to get any kind of significant views on YouTube. Of course, YouTube now also has live streaming, but that's still not quite at the same level of Twitch. So the engagement is still more there on Twitch. And of course, we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram. And TikTok is something that's really coming up, especially if your game is more targeted towards a younger audience. TikTok is perfect for that. However, TikTok is obviously, it's got such a wide audience. There are non-gamers on there. So finding the right creators on TikTok that are going to promote your game, it is a new market. It's something that's so new. And in the next 5 years, we'll see that jumping up even more. We'll see that sort of market growing, but right now it's in its infancy. So what you'll see, for example, is that some games, like strategy games, they don't work on TikTok. Nobody on TikTok is interested in strategy games. And even if you find the biggest creator, they might have 1 million views, but only 3 comments, and that's not what you want. That's not worth your money. So that's kind of the pros and cons, and you have to figure out for yourself what makes sense for my game. Where does my audience lie? Is my audience young? Is it a strategy audience? Like strategy, for example, doesn't work on Twitch either. You have to go on YouTube for that. And so you kind of have to figure that out for yourself. I'm always happy to give you advice if you want to ask afterwards, but this is really important in your creator marketing. It's finding out the platform before anything else. So quickly about organic versus paid. Everybody wants people to pick up their game organically. And sometimes this can happen. If you've got a great game, someone might just pick it up and play it. When we did the Remnant 2 campaign for Gearbox, we saw a lot of interest in Remnant. So many people picked up that game organically. The game was on the front page of Twitch for weeks at a time. And that's fantastic. That's what everyone wants, because then you get your eyes on your game. But there is never a guarantee for that. It depends on the rest of your marketing, it depends on how good your game is, and it's such a metric that you can't influence. So organically, what you can do is create relationships with creators, especially if you're an indie. Reach out to people that you think are going to enjoy your game. Reach out with them, create a relationship, give them a key, but with no restrictions. Just tell them, hey, I think you might enjoy my game. Would you be willing to play my game? And explain to them, I'm indie, I don't have the budget to help you. And most creators will be completely open to this. They're just happy that you're thinking of them, especially the smaller ones. Like, I'm not telling you go to Dr. Disrespect, because he's not going to do it, and you shouldn't go to him. But I'm saying go to the smaller, the medium-sized creators and message them. And be honest, I'm an indie. What can you do for me? Do you want to play my game? Can I put you in my game? Especially if you have the resources for that, put them in your game. Put their pet in your game. That kind of stuff is going to make your game get picked up organically. Outside of that, there are tools such as Keymailer, Lurkit, which is a mass distribution key platform. And this is something, especially if you're AAA, this is something to consider. It's so valuable because I get 200 emails a day of people requesting keys. I can't manage those keys. So we have key distribution platforms, send everyone there. There you go, please go there, apply. The platform vets for you, like it checks if the creators are legit, because you get a lot of scam requests as well. So if you are AAA, go for platforms like that. But if you're indie, try and form those personal relationships. With paid content, as I said, you have more creative control. You can really say to someone, this is a briefing, this is what I want you to talk about. I want you to highlight this new update for my game. I want you to highlight that this game is a platformer with a focus on politics. You can really control that narrative. And that's good if you want informative content out there. You know for sure that your game is going to be played the way it's meant to be played. This also means that you have a full marketing campaign. You make sure that everyone goes live on your live date. When your game launches, you want people to have a video out there. But you need to pay people for that, because not everyone's going to do that. It creates a hype. So as I said, the Twitch front page, you want to be on the front page, you got to invest. You got to make sure that you pay a lot of influencers to go live at the same time to even be noticed there. And that's the difference between paid versus organic. And I will always say, indie, go for organic. But if you're AAA, creators are smart, and they're going to say, why would I do this for free? Go for paid. Don't bother, you get a bad reputation. Go for paid if you're AAA. But if you're an indie, people will understand, and you'll be able to work with them organically. So then, of course, comes what is success. And this is hugely controversial, and I know not everyone is going to agree with me on this, because the way I work with influencers is very different from a lot of bigger companies. Clicks and sales are fluff. You can't measure how successful an influencer is. You just can't. Because if you watch someone on Twitch yourself, you may not buy the game right now, but you may add it to your wish list for another day. It may be in the back of your mind. And when you see someone else playing it a month from now, you're like, oh shit, yeah, I remember that game. Huh, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll check it. How are you going to track that? You can't. So when I say clicks are fluff, I really mean it. Don't look at those. Don't look at the sales you're making immediately. Sometimes it will not have the benefits until a month later, or maybe even half a year later when your game is cheaper, when it's had an update that people are waiting for. And so you should really look at those things and not just go, okay, but this person is 10,000 and I only got 100 clicks. It's not successful. No, it is probably successful. You just can't see it. The other thing to look at is, what I always look at is expected versus received. If someone normally gets 1,000 views, but with my game they got 2,000 views, that's successful. That means that my game somehow really pulled their audience. And that's, to me, successful. If the stats are less, if they only get 100 views, then I picked the wrong person. And fuck, then it's not a successful campaign. The other thing to look at is community sentiment. Is their community interested in what they're telling about your game? Are they positive? Are they just talking side stuff? Are they not even talking about the game? But if they're talking about your game, and if they're trying to help the stream, like, oh my god, check out this thing over there, check out that thing over there, they're engaged. It means that you found the right creator to talk about your game, and that is what success is when it comes to influencer marketing. And it doesn't matter how much money you've put behind it, because that's what success is the engagement, because it's better to engage 100 people than it is to have 10,000 views, but only 10 of those people were actually interested. And of course, game enjoyment. Did the streamer, did the content creator enjoy your game? If they did, hey, that's a success. Someone enjoyed your game, and they brought that enjoyment over to their audience. Because if they don't enjoy the game, it's going to be noticeable. You'll notice if someone doesn't like a game. So to the community, that game enjoyment is really important. And this is, when they enjoy that game, it's a relationship you should treasure. You should talk with the creator again. Be like, thank you for playing my game. Thank you for enjoying it. And really create, which I'm going into here, relationship, not business transactions. And that's how a lot of companies see streamers and content creators as a business transaction, as a here's money, play my game, done. That's not going to bring you success. That's going to bring you temporary success. That's going to bring you someone that plays your game once and they'll forget about it. And you can be guaranteed that if they forget about your game, their audience will too. So if that's how you approach influencers, my advice would be don't even bother. So as I mentioned, reach versus engagement. Always look at that engagement. How is your game going to get noticed? Have a good game. Very easy to say, right? But have a good game. That's how your game's going to get noticed. You can only do so much with something that's bad. No matter how much money you're going to throw at it, if your game isn't up to the standards of what the community is expecting and what gamers are expecting, and I know their standards are unreasonable, believe me, I know. But if that doesn't meet their expectations, then no matter how much money you throw at influencer marketing, it's not going to sell your game, because they're going to see the flaws of your game and they're going to exploit them. Especially the organic influencers, so the people that you aren't paying, they're going to exploit every single bad thing about your game, and you can't protect yourself against that. So be honest. If there's something not good about your game, be honest about it. So when I brief my creators, I always say, play the game. That's it, just play the game. And if there's something bad in my game and you want to exploit that, so be it. That's on us for having that in the game in the first place. Because they'll find out. And the problem is that when the creators talk positively, even though there's something bad in your game, they're going to get called shills. People are going to be like, I can't trust this creator anymore because they're just being paid to say something nice about my game. There you go, your brand reputation is gone. So that's like my advice. That's how I step into every single company I go. And not everyone agrees with me. But you will ruin your reputation if you tackle creators in this way, because gamers are smart and gamers are dumb, but they're smart enough to recognize a shill. They're smart enough to recognize when they're being paid to say something. Another one that is a very controversial topic is marketing agencies versus direct outreach. I know that a lot of you are indie, so you don't have the resources to reach out to people directly. It's going to cost you a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's a full-time job. But you're going to get better results than going through an agency, because an agency doesn't always have the best intent for your game. They don't know your game true and true, and you do. You know exactly what you want someone to say about your game. You know exactly what's going to be a right hit with the community. And that is so important, and only you can do that, or only your influencer manager can do that, or community manager, or whoever you have on your team that has the resources and capacity to do this. Even if you only work with 5 creators, you know what? That's better than paying an agency to reach out to 100 for you, in my opinion. As I said, social media community team, they can help you with this because they're close to the community. They can see who is the community interacting with, who are they recommending on social. We do that a lot. We say, hey, who's your favorite content creator for this game? And we reach out to them and we say, you know what, we'd love to work with you. Thank you for playing our game. And it creates a relationship, not just a business transaction. It creates a long-lasting relationship, and that's what you need to have success in your marketing campaigns. Of course, the other important thing, and these are just boring numbers, but I'm sure you all know them, region, genre, audience, platform, and community. These are all important in picking the right creator for your campaign. You need to know what region your game performs best in, or at least your game genre performs best in, because you know what, if you're going to do a strategy game and you're not focusing on Germany, you're missing out on the market. Germans love strategy games. So think about these things when you get creators, and get a creator that speaks German, because again, Germans love their own language. So these kind of things you need to take into account when you find the right creator for you. And as well as never limit them, never tell them not to smoke weed if that's what they do normally. Why would you? If that's their personality, and if it's legal in their country, let them do it. Because it's organic, it's who they are. You're not just getting a marketing tool, you're hiring a person to talk about your game. They're more than a tool. They are like a freelancer. I treat them like a freelancer. They're a human being. They've got their own personalities and opinions. Don't repress those, enhance those. And that way, they're going to come back to you and say, you know what, I saw you releasing another game. I don't need money. I would like to just play it. Thank you. And that's how you get successful influencer campaigns. And that was it. I know there might be a few questions. I did have a short VHQ, which I got from my colleagues, and they said, you should really talk about this, Lucy. Do I pay before or after a campaign? After a campaign. Never pay before, because no matter how much you trust someone, they can fuck up, they can do something stupid, they may just disappear on you. It happens. I've had creators ghost on me. So you pay them afterwards, after everything that they've agreed upon is done, and you always get a contract in place. Organically, not so much. But if you pay a creator, I can hear the lawyer here clapping, get a contract in place, protect yourself no matter how much you trust them. Make them sign NDAs, because that part of like being scary of the NDA, that's going to save your game, because you might talk NDA stuff with them. You might talk about things that are coming up that the audience doesn't know yet. Make them sign those documents. What tools can you use? Obviously, this is something you have to figure out for yourself. What fits within your budget? What makes sense for your company? As I mentioned, we use Lurkit and Keymailer, and I'm very happy with those for an organic perspective. From a reporting perspective, I use a tool called Agero, which gets me all the statistics from creators that I add in one place. It works for me. Right? But it doesn't work for everyone. And my favorite tool is Excel spreadsheets. That's what I use most of all. It's very simple, but Excel spreadsheets, everyone can access it. It's so easy to just write down who you're working with, what they're costing, and when I'm out sick or get hit by a bus, someone can take over very easily. And as I said, should you work with agencies, always make sure you keep your own creative control over any campaign that you do, because you guys know your games best, and no one else is going to know it better than you do. And that was it. If you want to talk with me more about influencers, hit me up on Twitter, I refuse to call it X, or on LinkedIn, or on the show floor afterwards. And if there are any questions, I see we've got 2 minutes left for questions.
Yes. So, any more questions?
I'm not sure if that's a good sign or a bad sign.
No, well, first of all, there is a question, but you did your own introduction and then you did your own questions, so...
Hello. I wanted to ask, if you're in early development, do you suggest already using an influencer for instance, a demo that normal players can't access yet?
Absolutely, yeah. So I used to be an indie developer myself, and I made a little indie game, and I had creators play it when it was just still like a beta that we gave to like Sony and Xbox, and their feedback was extremely valuable, but also seeing how the community responded. I made sure, of course, to tell the creators, like, hey, please make sure you tell your audience, this is just a beta, this is whatever. But the feedback that we got helped us develop the future of the game, because it gives you valuable insights. As I said, you don't have to listen to them, but it's always valuable if you're okay with them showing the game, right, to audiences, because that's what they want to do. But yeah, absolutely, I would say so. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Oh.
Always in the back.
Hi. Thanks for your talk. It was really interesting. I had a question. I was wondering, how about streaming the games you make yourself?
So that's a very interesting one. Actually, once again, something that I used to do in my old job was streaming our old games. And for me, it was a lot of fun. Like, I had a blast doing it. But if you are a publisher, people aren't very interested in that. And because when you watch a streamer, you watch a personality. So if you want to go into that as a publisher, then you need to have a strong personality behind it. If you are a developer, hell yeah, people are going to be interested because they want to know how the game is made. So it needs to be more of a informative thing, like, hey, ask me anything. I'm the developer of the game, and this is how I play the game. So there are two different strategies there. As a publisher, you need to have a personality in there. But as an indie dev, yeah, people are gonna love it. They love hearing what you have to say about your game. Like via queues, even if you just want to do like a Reddit thread or a Steam on Steam, yeah, as a developer yourself, they will love it.
Nice, thanks.
Time for one last question.
I guess I told it well then.
Then I have a small one. A short one. You were saying clicks and sales are fluff.
Yeah.
So no more talk about, how many views will lead to how many sales. But how do your employers think about that? How did you convince them on that?
By talking a lot of bullshit and convincing them that I know what I'm talking about. No, honestly, it's led to a lot of conversations. At Gearbox, honestly, they're very much like, you know what, you're the influence manager, you know what you're talking about, so we trust you in this. And at Gearbox, everyone is very much like, yeah, no, you know what, we agree with you, because how can you measure how successful that is? And the old employees, yeah, it's definitely been a struggle.
Okay.
It's definitely been a big discussions, and yeah, sometimes your boss above says, you know what, I disagree with you, Lucy. We're looking at clicks, and I'll be like, well, then you're not going to have success. But I warned you about that, so whatever. So no, it's a very good question, and it's something that I would say get a good influencer manager if you have the budget, and they'll help you convince your upper bosses.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Give her a round of applause.